Welcome back. Let's check in on some of the big news stories around in the media sector this week with James Manning from Mediaweek. James, there was a report in The Australian this week that the axe is about to fall at the 10 network. Have you heard any more on this?
Yeah, we talked about it last week. We talked about Jim Carroll leaving. It was thought not to want to be a part of, downsizing their news operation considerably. The Australian then sort of updated that story this week and said, look, it's looks like it could happen on Monday. Maybe 100 people, redundancies going from both news, maybe other parts of the station, also the out-of-home business that they run. So we don't know a lot more than that at the moment.
Also at 10, some more changes on One, which obviously used to be the sports channel. The AFL now only going to be on the primary channel? Yeah,
a lot of footy fans disappointed that no more AFL in HD on free-to-air. If you want an HD AFL now, you must go to Fox Sports. It's the only place you'll see it. And what that does for 10, I guess, two things. It boosts the audiences on the remaining AFL games they have this year. Then it frees up some airtime on One to help them promote, some of the programming they will have come the end of the football season. We're sort of over halfway through now.
All right. James Pack, of course, used to, in some respect, have ties to 10, of course, obviously, in the past ties to 9, but he's been talking about why he doesn't really like investing in media.
Yeah, he sort of gave a sort of an interview to the AFR, but I think it was actually probably a shortish email. They built a story around it, but he said some very interesting stuff, and he explained why he doesn't like media investments. And because he said he ends up get into fights with people he likes, and he's talked about how his friendship with Kerry Stokes has developed, and he doesn't really want to have to be in there. And he says it's quite a hard business to be in. You've got your opponents are very tough. It's very sort of almost brawling over rights and programming and stuff like that. And he said he doesn't need that sort of grief in his life.
Nor do we all. Now, The Block, this has been on, for 2 weeks now?
We're into
on
the
9. So how's it going? Still doing pretty well?
Yeah, excellent business for them. They're it looks like they're almost stringing it out. There's sort of only been renovation on a couple of nights, but the audience seem to be enjoying the other stuff they're putting in, like challenges and things like that. There seems no sort of slacking off of those numbers at all. Very clever, it looks like, to put it in that 7 p.m. slot. It avoids MasterChef. It's stealing a little bit of audience for other shows, bringing in some new viewers. So, yeah, it could continue to do very well.
Now, do you think it bodes well for the renovators when it starts?
Well, you can go either way here. I think it probably does, because I think the renovators will be on at a different time. They won't be running that at 7 o'clock. There'll be a few times when the shows will go head to head, but there won't be much. So, and I think The Block will be nearly finished by the time the renovators start. So, in theory, if you like The Block, you're going to like renovators. So, it could help them.
Okay, now we've had a bit of a changing at the guard if we go up to the 9 network in Brisbane.
Yes, Heather Ford, a long-time newsreader up there, she's been with 9, I think 23 years, something like that, in Brisbane, said, look, she was most recently reading the weekend news. She said, look, I've been here 23 years doing the same job. I'd love to try something new. So she's going to do that. Heading off, they haven't announced a replacement yet, but she will stay on the roster as a relief newsreader, so when other people go on leave, she'll step into the breach.
Okay, so they will still see her up on the desk every now and then.
Indeed.
And so, speaking of news, Win in Tasmania, now they've decided to scrap the news on the weekend.
Talking of cost-cutting in newsrooms, happens big time at Win, of course, yeah. Their weekend news, they're just going to take a feed from 9 Melbourne's news, will be, their weekend bulletins at 6 p.m, no longer a local news service. They wasn't spending a huge resource on it. I think it means 4 people lose their jobs, including the newsreader, I think a news director, cameraman and a reporter.
I guess, the local news bulletins really have sort of been pared back a lot over the last few years. And, I used to work for one, but you wonder if because of online, because of all the other opportunities there are out there for people, that perhaps it's not as important as it used to be. It used to be the mainstay of sort of local media.
The economics of the size of the Tasmanian market mean it's really treated like a regional, because it's it's a very small audience as compared to metro cities, and they just find it hard to sustain. it gives their opponents, you know, a free kick, of course, because they will persist and they can, you know, really go hard with, look, we're the only, you know, local news. You want local, you've got to go here. So.
And when you've only got one, you obviously don't have to spend as much money on doing it because there's no choice. So if you want to watch a local news bulletin, you've got to go there. Now, dinner date is changing tack slightly from local news to we've moved away from the renovation and back to cooking. There's
Manu
still
Fidel's
more
going
on
to
the
host
menu.
that for 7. He's, of course, big success at the moment in Dancing with the Stars, doing very well for them. My Kitchen Rules, fantastic business, 2 series of that. He's, you know, I think they're probably working on the 3rd series, or they'll start filming probably when he finishes his other commitments. No word yet on when this new dinner date show will start, but the deal is 1 person, 5 prospective dates. I think those 5 people are culled down to 3, then those 3 cook for that person, and then you...
Perfect match, but with food.
That's it.
Okay.
You got it.
Fair enough. Now, Tracy Grimshaw, a name and a face known to pretty much all Australians, I would imagine. 30 years on the box this week.
Yeah, amazing sort of little broadcasting milestone. They Wednesday this week, they celebrated that on air at A Current Affair. Started off with 9 News in, 30 years? That'd be 1981. Later
tell
went
by
on
some
to,
of the hairstyles.
later went on to co-host the Today Show. I think she did that for about 9 years. And of course, doing A Current Affair these days.
Yeah, well, she's done well. Let's move to print. TV Week is making some changes. Yeah,
a bit of a redesign. They've been introducing some sort of subtle and not so subtle changes over the last few weeks. They sort of unveiled the complete package this week. You pick up the magazine, you could be forgiven for thinking it just focused on soap operas, like it was always someone from Neighbours or Home and Away on the cover. They're sort of trying to get away from that image. They're sort of taking it up market a little bit, if you like. A lot of that stuff was already in there, but now they're going to put more of a focus on it. Things like David Stratton's always been their movie reviewer, for example. A lot of people probably didn't realise that, so they'll just try and broaden the audience out a bit.
Okay. Now, we talked a while ago now about Pacific Mags doing a joint venture with an SBS TV show, which is unusual in itself, but we've got a little bit more information about what this JV is going to entail now. Yeah,
we know it's going to be called Feast. It looks like it's going to launch in the first week of August. Monthly magazine. It's going to be edited by Alex Clark, who's been a editorial executive at Pacific for about the last decade, I think.
Moving to online, News Limited putting its hand in its pocket, buying KidSpot.
We don't know exactly how much they paid. 45 to 50 million, we think. So it's probably a nice little deal there. But it's 26 separate shareholders for KidSpot, so they'll be carving up that sizable pie quite a few ways. Katie May was the former Seek executive who launched that, still the chief executive. Ticks a lot of boxes for news. Big traffic, does huge numbers. They sell a lot of ads off the back of that. They sell a lot of product they do reviews. You can click on the review if you want to buy it. Click on that, you can buy it, so they get a slice of that transaction. Interesting where it sits within news. It'll be... Katie May will be reporting to Sandra Hook, who runs the magazines, so it'll be in that part of the business.
It should be pointed out, I suppose, that KidSpot is not actually a kids' website, it's a website for parents, really. It's about mothering and babies.
And there's, I think, an associatedbirth.com.au too.
All right, well, still online, Google has launched a social networking site in an attempt to take on Facebook. Google Plus is the company's latest attempt to break into the social media market after its last service failed to meet its own privacy guidelines.
Friends in the real world and online. These students at the University of West London use social networking sites to stay in touch wherever they are, and their virtual world is dominated by Facebook. More than 600 million users around the world. For many, it is their online identity.
I post photographs, I discuss with my friends, and I join groups.
As a student union, we use Facebook quite regularly for advertising purposes. It helps us keep in touch with the students who are all mainly on Facebook.
I don't think people have changed that much in thousands of years.
The inexorable rise of Facebook is a threat to that other online giant, Google. Its fresh attempt to break into social networking offers video conferencing and tighter privacy controls, allowing users to choose the information they share with different circles of friends. Reinventing the brand could help it hang on to the advertisers it depends on.
We're seeing billions of dollars being invested in social media activity by businesses. From a consumer point of view, I mean, it's huge. The numbers of people who are engaged in different types of social networks, not just Facebook, are spending more and more time there. It's where their friends are. It's where their topics of interest are. It's how things get shared and communicated. And I think that because that's where consumers are, we'll see more and more and more money being invested in this space.
That's the video conferencing and that's the messaging.
So, does Google Plus offer enough to entice the Facebook generation?
Google Plus, it looks like you can actually have more control of your account and your privacy and stuff. I think it's better.
Take quite a lot of time, quite a lot of effort persuading people to switch over. Some people don't like switching over. And there's somebody else who's got all your pictures on now, your videos, all your memories if you like. And how do you move that over?
Google Plus is invitation only for now, but it is a serious challenger to Facebook. The fight for your friends just got interesting. Thomas Moore, Sky News.
Time for the ratings. Before we get to the free-to-air for week 26, just want to go through with you, James, some of the digital TV free-to-air ratings. These have been quite surprising, really, even for the people who work on them. Yeah,
we mentioned briefly to Anita before, they keep setting new records. They're the 3 most watched programs ever on the digital TV channels. 2 of those records were set just this week. Transformers on Go, a movie they screened on Saturday night, and then Wimbledon on day 9, which was Wednesday evening this week. That was the most watched show ever, 700,000.
Big numbers considering that still not necessarily everyone can get these. So, I mean, if you don't have a box.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. It's not, you know, it's good numbers.
For sure,
That's what I'm trying to say. Let's move on to free-to-air ratings now for week 28. I think we're up to MasterChef Wednesday in the #1 spot. Followed by Australia's Got Talent in second, Downton Abbey in third, MasterChef on Monday coming in at fourth, 7 News Sunday in fifth position, MasterChef continuing their Sunday and Tuesday show in sixth and seventh position, Dancing with the Stars in eighth, 9 News Sunday ninth, and MasterChef Thursday taking out 10th this week. We move across to the subscription television ratings. The top 5 sport programs first. NRL in the top 4. Raiders v Eels in at first. Sea Eagles v Eels game at second this week. Titans v Sharks. Bulldogs v Sharks in at fourth and fifth place. The AFL West Coast v Port Adelaide match in non-sport. The Sweet Life movie in the #1 spot, followed by the Sweet Life on deck in second, both of those on Disney, as is Phineas and Ferb in third place. Big Fat Gypsy Weddings took out the #4 spot, and The Sorcerer's Apprentice rounding out this week's top 5. James, Big Fat Gypsy Weddings doing some good numbers there for
fantastic
lifestyle.
stuff for Lifestyle U, a UK series well worth catching up with. It's their most watched program ever.
Excellent. I'll try and catch it. That's all we have time for from the team here. Thanks for your company.